Welcome to the first episode of Ancient Anecdotes powered by Listen Cup. This is your host, Ramanathan Iyer.
And this is Lalita Ramanathan. What are we talking about today, Pa?
Do you want to know about the Varaha Avatara?
Ooh, what is it? What's the Varaha Avatara?
So many millennia before, during the Satya Yuga, 5,000 years ago, give or take 100 more.
4th millennium BC?
Yes, according to the Aranyakanda in the Valmiki Ramayana, the great Jatayu says that Kashyapa Prajapati was the last of the Prajapatis or sons of Brahma.
Oh, I know this one. Kardamah pratamastesham vikritasthadhanantaraha sheshascha samshayaschaiva bahuputrascha viryavan sthanurmarichir atrischa kratuschaiva mahabalaha pulastischangiraschaiva prachetah pulahastataha.
Daksho aparo arishtanemischa raghava kashyapascha mahateja tesham asicha paschimaha. Quite a lot of Prajapatis there. Good job. When Kashyapa was still in his youth, he conducted a great yajna and needed a cow for the milk, curds, butter and ghee and so on. So he borrowed the celestial cow from Varuna. It is said that he became greedy and didn't want to return the cow after the yajna was over, as promised. Now, what will you do if your friend Etash or Neelkant borrows your toys and does not return it?
I will tell his mother. She will punish him.
Exactly. Varuna went and complained to Brahma. Brahma said, "The cow is Varuna's dear possession, like a daughter to him. You have separated them. May you be born as a cowherd, and your sons won't live with you." Kashyapa first asks for an opportunity to repent for his mistake. Brahma is his father. He loves him too. So he agrees. Okay, you can take some time to meditate. But once said is said, you will be born a cowherd in the Dwapara Yuga. Kashyapa realizes his mistake, receives the punishment with folded hands. Hey, what happened? What are you thinking about, dear?
Did Kashyapa really meditate for 7,000 Svargaloka years, Pa? Satya Yuga and Treta Yuga put together? I'm not even able to close my eyes for 20 minutes.
Well, yes and no. This is indeed an interesting question. Actually, my granddad used to tell me Kashyapa meditated next to Brahma for 19 odd minutes only. And 27 Chaturyugas had already passed in the world by then, and it was time for his incarnation in the Dwapara Yuga. That is why, even today, 20 minutes is suggested as the right time frame to meditate. But we will talk about this time frame puzzle later, okay? Anyhow, Kashyapa's wives Aditi and Diti are also said to have incarnated with him. Now, there are characters in the Bhagavata whose sons did not live with them. Can you name them?
Vasudeva and Devaki.
Correct. Kashyapa, Aditi and Diti were reincarnated as Vasudeva, Devaki and Rohini. If you start eating a mango, what remains?
The seed.
Yes, that's right. And it will grow into another mango tree. So more people can eat that mango. Whatever we do will affect the world. It is very important to know this. Okay, back during the Satya Yuga, Kashyapa meditated in the Satya Loka to understand the ultimate truth. At the end of his meditation, Mahavishnu appears before him and says, "O Kashyapa, your meditation has borne fruit. You will now be counted among the 7 immortal rishis. You have realized your true nature, but the seeds of your action will affect the world. Because you are one of the sons of Brahma, this act of greed will affect the world greatly. Brahma is born out of my navel, so I am also responsible for your act. But don't you worry, I will incarnate to handle this." So what Kashyapa overcame was received by Diti, and thus were born Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashyapa.
So, that's how Kashyapa was able to sublimate his mind. Is it? Is that why Mahavishnu gave Kashyapa darshan? That means Mahavishnu made sure he acted according to what he said in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, isn't it? योगिनामपि सर्वेषां मद्गतेनान्तरात्मना श्रद्धावान् भजते यो मां समे युक्ततमो mata. Ooh, that incarnation of Mahavishnu promises to Kashyapa is the Varahavatara, is it? What happened during the Varahavatara, Pa? Tell no.
Whoa. Wait, one question at a time. First of all, that sixth chapter Bhagavad Gita quote was brilliant. When the mind is innocent with faith, it is stilled, and this is indeed the highest yoga. And secondly, to recap, Hiranyaksha was born to Diti and Kashyapa Prajapati. Hiranyaksha wanted power to rule the worlds and wanted never to be defeated. By becoming immortal and being able to rule all the three worlds was his single purpose with which he did severe penance to Brahma. Instead, invulnerability from man or beast or gods was all he got as a boon.
What is invulnerability, Pa?
Immunity, basically. He conquered the three worlds and submerged Mother Earth under the ocean. Mahavishnu defeats Hiranyaksha by assuming the Varahavatara and rescues Earth. The very exception to Hiranyaksha's boon was the Varahavatara. Part man and part poor and... What? Why is your hand up again?
How come the earth got submerged in the water, Pa? Where did so much water come from?
There is a loka with different kinds of liquids called as the Rasatala. This loka is a realm where people who are blinded by greed, malice, avarice, or anger usually resonate with.
What is a resonate?
It is a state of mind, my dear, that we have at times. Have you noticed we often oppress or do harm only to people whom we know won't strike back, or are weaker, or who show patience towards our shortcomings? Once we do this, we feel, I am so powerful. Then we become greedy for this power. That is when we have descended into Rasatala. The word Hiranyaksha itself means one who is blinded by greed. Greed makes us ill-treat even those who show utmost patience.
Like Mother Earth.
Right. Now, where do hogs, pigs and boars find their food?
They find their food amidst the slush, Pa.
Right. Suppose we drop a golden ring in the slush. To pick it up, we forget the slush and remember the value of the ring, isn't it? Our mind is our world, and one such precious thing that we need to save at all costs. When one shows greed, our mind descends into Rasatala, a dirty place, and a bore has to bring your mind out of the slush. I remember when my granddad used to explain it this way. When we think of my benefit alone, then our mind becomes busy with so many thoughts that tire us eventually. But when we start including the benefit of all around me, then the mind is stilled for the welfare of the world. Bhava yasya.
Wait, isn't this word and Rasatala from chapter 3 in Bhagavatam, Pa?
Yes, absolutely. What an amazing catch. You are right.
Dvitiyantu bhavayasya rasatalagata mahim uddharishyan upadatta yajnesha saukaram vapuhu.
Uddharishyan, bringing the earth out of the water. This was the core symbolism the story teaches.
So, to overcome greed, we meditate like Kashyapa?
Yes, to still our mind, we must. The boar symbolizes determination. To overcome greed requires effort from our end. Have you also noticed how the Varaha picks the earth out? He uses the snout or the nose part to lift the earth, not the strong hands that were used to defeat Hiranyaksha. So, for handling the mind, you have to be determined and use your breath, not the strength of the body. And this stills the mind and allows us to meditate. Isn't this an unorthodox way of Indian storytelling?
Satyayuga is the 4th millennium BC, isn't it? The Bronze Age had just started in Bhuloka.
Yes. Much later, in the 5th century BC, Hellenic Grecians like Plato and Eratosthenes had first discovered Earth to be a spheroid and had used a unit called stadian to approximate the Earth's circumference. But did you also know that the idols in the Indian temples, built millennia before, show the Varaha Avatara carrying a spherical Earth out of the water? Eons had already passed in India with the knowledge of accurate astronomical calculations before Hans Lippershey, Jacob Metius, and the renowned Galileo Galilei were one-upping each other in 1608-09 over a patent for the first telescope.
So, why us? Why specifically listen Cub stories?
This is our little for the world.
Our Bhavayas here.
Yes, it will help to bring all our minds out of the Rasatala. We realized this value in the system of unorthodox storytelling only recently, although I have had the fun of experiencing it firsthand right from the days of my grandparents. I see now the system is either absent or dwindling these days as less of us have paid attention to these stories. Here is where Listen Cub fits in. We are going to present some interesting stories of yore that are unbelievably thought provoking and relevant even today, much like a 600mm f4 EF mount L lens for millennia old faraway stories having creamy bokeh. My granddad had a special way of presenting this knowledge very skillfully, like, say, without any damage to either the poor Eratosthenes or, for that matter, Galileo or Aryabhatta. And he did so by linking all this to something that was happening with us right then. He had a new story for every situation, and he never ran out. We would drop our tantrums in awe every time he spoke. It was pure magic, and you will soon see why.
Can I go out to play now and meditate tomorrow, please?
You know, postponing meditation will get you in trouble. Someone as devout as Sundaramurti Nayanar himself had his marriage cancelled because he postponed doing something good.
What? His marriage got cancelled? How? Wait, where are you going? Who's Sundaramurti Nayanar? And why did he postpone his marriage, Appa?
Hear it first on
Ancient Anecdotes
on your favorite podcast streaming providers.
Tune in every week for a brand new episode.